My name is Roy Peregrine. I'm broadcasting tonight out of my house in Coppers Cove, Texas, which is 45 minutes south of Austin. It's 45 minutes south of Waco and an hour and a half east of Austin. This presentation is for History 530 American Christian Heritage and will attempt to answer the following questions. What was the impact of Christianity in the founding of America? What was the importance of Puritanism in the founding of America? And what was the importance of religious as a cohesive social bond? I believe that Christianity was the reason why people came to America. They felt it was their calling to share the good news with people who had not heard the good news, and that if they came to America and were able to successfully settle and make a profit and show that they are successful in the new world, the glory of their success would not be on them, but would be on their trust in the Lord, and cause them to come over. This is grounded in the reasons for plantation in New England, a paper found among Governor John Winthrop, the governor of New England's documents. In this document, he laid out 9 reasons to justify the undertakings of an intent to plantation in New England, which he justifies through the use of gospel. He then goes on to rebut 10 rejections to colonization. Both his justifications and rebuttals were based in the gospel. He was going to come to the United States to share the good news with the native people, but he was also going to carry out God's will, quote, to increase and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, which again was renewed to Noah in the great flood. Most expeditions in the New World were along these lines. Robert Schultz's article, A Christian America, Earl Warren and Our Christian Roots, he shares excerpts from Chief Justice Warren's speech in 1954, where he showed the Charter of Virginia, the Charter of Massachusetts, and the Fundamental Order of Connecticut, all had Christian principles as their guiding purpose. But the real impact of Christianity in the founding of America was the Reformation. In the Frontline episode for this week, God in America 1, The New Adam, Stephen Petrow puts it this way. America was a new place, allowing for a new relationship with God. The Protestants in America were using education to allow for an individual relationship with God and an individual interpretation of the gospel so that you could come together and see how it was. This brings me to my second point. What was the second question? What was the importance of Puritanism in the founding of America? I believe that the importance of Puritanism in the founding of America was not so much. I believe the founding of America was affected by Puritanism as it led to the separation of church and state. Maryland, which was founded by the Colbert family, was a refuge for Catholics. Cecil Colbert, the second Lord of Baltimore, put into effect the Act Concerning Religion to protect Catholics from a Protestant parliament in England. He was concerned that the English would come over and try and wipe out the Catholics in order to clean the old slate and start a new slate. He also made sure not to antagonize Protestant settlers so as to reassure, quote, to reassure Protestants in New England that Maryland was not a hostile state. This was, of course, out of the book for our class written by Mark Knowles. But as Stephen Perdue points out in the New Adam episode, Anne Hutchinson and her family were banished to the wilderness because John Winthrop believed deviation from the norm of Puritanism was a threat to society. So the question is, how did the society stick together? Well, I believe the importance was that everyone developed a live and let live policy. There were so many different refugees and so many different people fleeing political persecution for their religious faith in the European world and in parts of America that they decided that they were just going to live and let live, that everybody was in faith with God and worshiping God, although using different traditions and different interpretations. And what brought people together was soapbox preachers, like in the episode The New Adam, the example of George Winthrop, who preached to everyone with the same message that we could all be born again and bring the world together. As Daniel Darspos put it, George Winthrop's preachings and people like him brought together people who would not break bread together and came together to share the message of the good news. This led to America being, as I feel, what is currently on our currency bills, on the United States currency bills, a country that trusts in God. Have a good night, everyone.